In this screencast, I want to work through the transition from the setting and dealing with putting the settings together in lesson and into actually building of questions. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to go create real quick, and I'm just going to do it kind of title and accept all the defaults, just because to give you an idea of once it's created, what's that first screen you have to deal with. Okay, so I'm just going to call it that. We're going to scroll down screen here, and we're just going to take that. Now, I can't stress this enough and reiterate this. It will be infinitely easier to put together if you have meta time what it is that you want to do. In other words, you have mapped out the purpose of your lesson, the questions you want to ask, the wording of the questions, and then you want to make sure each question has a title. That title is going to be very important because that's going to become the page name. And so as we're linking and jumping to pages within the lesson, that name is going to matter. Okay, and I'll show you that in a second here. So I did a quick generic lesson. This is assume now that you've gone through, you've put all your settings together. All right, you've saved it, you've come back to here, you have no questions in it yet. So then that will pop up. Okay, now you'll have this box right here in the center. All right, and it'll give you the ability to, we're actually right now under edit. All right, these kind of tabs up here will appear periodically. And you have 4 options. Import questions, you're gonna have to know like HTML coding and whatnot to do that. To import a PowerPoint, that's something I'm working on. As I get that figured out, I'll create a video for it. But as of right now, it's a little more complicated than just uploading the PowerPoint. You have to save it as a web page and zip it, and there can't be any color in the background. It's a few little details to it. But the 2 that you're going to focus on mostly will be add a branch question and add a question page. Now, we're going to just go to add a question page to show you how that starts. But the add a branch table, there's actually a video for that. As far as the creating a lesson video, there's one that talks about branch more. So the initial setup and beginning is kind of the same. So let's go add a question page. All right, now again, it's going to refresh. Okay, and we're given a few options here. Now at the top is a list of the types of questions you can create. It can be multiple choice, true, false, short answer, numerical, matching, and then all the way over here to the right is essay. Now remember, an essay, Moodle won't grade it. You have to go in and grade it manually. Okay, that's something to keep in mind. The next thing that will pop up as I bring you back to the left over here is the page title. Now this is important. The page title is important. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go back and let's just do true false. Let's just create a true. Okay, so the screen refreshes. We're now for true false. The title is important because, and you'll see down here when I show you how you can jump, knowing the title will matter greatly. Because we'll show you how to jump if you want to jump to pages or move to a subsequent page depending on the response given or the answer given by the student. That's gonna matter. And so if you have ahead of time this mapped out, or at least a diagram of what direction you want to take it in, especially as far as the subject matter you want to cover, it'll be a little bit easier. So that's the title. And down here is the page content. This is where you can post the question. Now the question needs to be as detailed as necessary for the student to understand it. So you may want to link to something. You may want to reference something in the textbook, and then they come back, depending on how you have it set up and the way you want to use it. Okay. Blue is my... Alright, number false. Now we come down to the answer. Okay, the first choice would be true. Right? The response. Now this is another instructional tool. Depending on the type of response, will direct the student on how to receive it. So you could just say, in this case, I'm just going to say correct. All right. But if you want to use it more as a reinforcement or use it more as an instructional method, and that say it's incorrect, so say you tell them why it's incorrect, or you direct them where to find the correct answer, or you help them understand why it's incorrect. And you get a sense of that again in some of these other videos that give you examples of lessons already built out. Now here's the jump. Now when we talk about jump, it's a matter of what will happen after the student answers this. Will it stay on this page? Will it jump to the next page? Or will it jump to another page, page's title? Now in here, because we have no other pages built out, your only option is to stay on this page, to jump to the next page, to go back to the previous page, or to end the lesson. Okay, if I would say I had another page and I titled it "What's my my favorite car?" Well, that would appear down here as "What's my favorite car?" And if I clicked on it and you answered this question correctly, it would then take you to that question. But also, if you know that's the next question in the sequence, or the next page in the sequence, if you just leave it on next page, that's what would happen as well. Answer 2, we're going to put false. Is sorry, that is incorrect. Okay, now what are we going to do? Let's leave it on this page if you answer false. That way the student will be able to answer it correctly. Okay, give them a chance to answer. As long as you have that setting. If you allow multiple retakes, they'll be able to. If not, they just wouldn't get the points. Let's say you're doing this for a quiz. Here you see if the correct answer is given, so true is given, you get 1 point. If you come down here, you get 0 points. So either way, I want you to go to the next page to take the next question. You would also still set this to next page. And again, you could go to previous page, you could be at the end of the lesson, or you could jump into outside information or another page altogether. Okay, but we're just going to put next page. Now, the way to view this is you could add another question page, because this is that initial setup. Okay, so you know that there's going to be more than one page. So by clicking on add a question page, that would take you to the next page in the sequence, and you would go through the same type of setup as we just did. Come top and do add a question page. Alright, now this screen that pops up here, notice you still have your preview, edit, reports, grade essays. Where we're in right now, okay, is we're kind of getting a little more of a preview. So always if you go to preview, it's going to allow you to take the test and try it out, or take the lesson, sorry, and try it out. But this gives you a different view as far as how to understand what's going on in here. So here's what we just did. We just created this. And so the more pages you create, they stay laid out in a sequence. So if we had another page, it would appear down here, and so on and so on. And that becomes clearer in some of the other videos as you see lessons that are already built out. Also, up here at the top, you have some options. You can add a branch table, add a question page here. So if you say you wanted to add a question page above the favorite color page, I'd click add a question page here, and the page would appear above it. Say you wanted to add a question page below it, I'd click add a question page here and appear below it. And that can help you map it out, because you know that, okay, from favorite color, I've added a page and it's called my favorite car. So then you could go back and edit this to control the jumps to that page. Now, you can move your questions, once you have them all built out, you can move them around by this icon here. You can also edit, so the page we were just on, as far as building the question out, you can get to and edit it through here. And you can also preview it by clicking on this, and you can also delete it by clicking on this. If I bring you over here, you see here's the content. Blue is my favorite color. Answer 1 is true. The response would be correct. The score would be 1 point. The jump would be to the next page. So it breaks down what this page contains and what it holds. And so it's a wonderful resource to get an idea of how it looks and how you're mapping it out and what's leading to what. So, again, if you can take what you have created on your paper and transfer it into here and be able to get this view of it, it'll give you a little better understanding, and you can get a feel for what the students will be doing and how they're maneuvering through it. Okay. Now the next couple of videos will go into some examples of it, so you can see it after it's kind of built out and how it works through. I will have an example provided in here for you as well.